What a mess. My microphone. Yes, check one. That's my tea. Oh man, I do like tea. Hey, grab a cup of tea, grab a cup of coffee, whatever you're drinking this morning. Hopefully, it's something a little toasty. It's still chilly in the southeast. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, so it's a little cold here. But you know what? No complaints. We're blessed beyond measure. Hey, as you can see, I've laid out a few brushes here, and I want to show you something that, yeah, there's something to style. There's something to go back to the familiar. So stay with me just a bit, and if you don't have a little notepad, a pen, or a paper, grab one if you're writing this down. By the way, you're going through this beautiful week of family and friends and Thanksgiving and food, and maybe you're traveling, maybe you're not, maybe people are coming to you. I do hope you can sit down and join someone at a table somewhere, if nothing else, and just break bread together and say, I'm still here. So that's something to be thankful for. Also, then we go right into a Christmas season. I've been painting Christmas paintings already, trying to get them out a little early this year. So if you have to give some or get them wrapped or frame them for friends, you can have time to do that. One of the things that I want to do this morning is that people make Christmas lists, and everybody always gets asked, oh gosh, I wish you could help my Christmas list, but I don't know what to ask for. So I'm going to go back to the basics and tell you what some of the things that I started with years ago that I'm still using. And so you can just make a note of that. If it's something that you like, and if it's the size that you're painting, if you're painting 3 by 5 feet pieces, or if you're doing micron pens or certain types of like Pat does Tombow pens, and her list is in the book, which I'm going to talk about a little bit this morning. The point is, those are not the tools I use. That's not my style. But in your own style, I labeled this show sort of keep it simple. And so here's where we're going to go. All right, I'm going to shut this music down, say hello to a few people, and then we're going to plow through here. Good morning to you if you've already jumped on the show. I'm going to grab, just because it's Christmas, excuse me. Excuse me, still have a cough, and maybe for Christmas I'll get rid of my cough. Wouldn't that be fun? This is, all right. Boom. All right, so top of the morning to you. Glad you are here. I threw Cheap Joe's catalog on here. Sounds like I give them a lot of plugs, but I should. I started with painting with these guys, and I started using their tools, their paint, and I found a groove. I found what I liked, and I just stayed with it. And I said, you know what? In any science project, there has to be a baseline. It's just as simple as that. You've got to find something that you go with. You go, yeah, but I decided to go over here and I changed over here. If you never, so for me, I set a standard. I know what gamboge looks like. I know how it paints. In fact, it's taken me 3 years to get used to new gamboge because it's just a little more touch toward orange, and I'm backing off a little, but I like it enough now to stay with it. And most people can't even tell except me. My eye reads that. We're going to talk about color this morning. Started it on Saturday with you with a couple new paint tubes I had. So I've laid out quite a few paint tubes here. I'll scoot them into the picture so you can see them here in just a little bit. As a matter of fact, if I just move me over, you're going to see several laying right in my paint tray right there. Boom. Right up here above my head. And so, and you're going to see a big ink blot down here. It looks like a spider crawling on my page. It's not. If it was, I would have to go over there and get my pistol on the wall and shoot him right through the desk. It's my cowboy gun. It wouldn't really work, but it looks good. All right, so here's the thing. I pull this catalog out because I'm gonna after I say hello, I'm gonna take you into this one. This is this year's. Last year's I think was a different page. Here it is right here. Watercolor sets. These are some people with Joe that they and I'm honored and flattered to be in here. But take a look at this. This is my set. It's Michael Hahn, Roodoodles Artist Color Set. It always talks about the community. That's you people. And so it's on page 50 of the catalog. And you're going to see rounds 2 and 4 here. 4 I use a lot. I don't have one now because I just smashed one. So I should have bought one last week when I was up there, but I bought a beautiful 3 and I bought a 5. And so a little bigger painting I'm doing with 5, 3 and 5. And I also use this Yasutoma brush, this bamboo brush here. Now I'm just moving brushes all over the place. They're just rolling everywhere here. So the point is, I still keep it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, kind of 6 simple colors here. Gamboge, ultramarine blue, Joe's red or red hot mama. Either one of those reds work great for me. A French gray, a Andrews turquoise, Terry Tardy turquoise for this show, and a lamp black. And you can always make black, but sometimes I just need that little black stroke to dip in there and go and be done. And so I chose black in my colors. The paper that it shows here is this 5.5 by 10 inch original bright white paint book. Notice I said bright white. These colors, to me and my style, pop well with bright white. It's 20 sheets. There's a little easy divider sheet in between, but I love this paper. Now, it's small, but you know what? Everybody in the country, cards are small. Some of you are painting cards and you're being very successful with them. Some of you, it took a little longer to get into that, to say, why not just paint a small card? It works. I have a couple other papers I'm going to show you today, but the reason I show you this, more than just bragging about the fact that I'm really proud of it, is I have a little spray bottle, one of these, and I have a small painted kit like this that folds. This one folds over. This one has a little more space to just mix some colors if you're into mixing colors. Most of you know I blend my colors together on the artwork. So that's in Joe's. Here's the thing I want to show you about brushes, if you can hold with me just for a second here. Let give some more people some time to pile on, and I'll pass down through there and say hello. I'm so grateful you're on the show. So here's take a look at this. This is a discovery of just consistency. That's what I'm looking for. Look at this number 8. I'm going to put them against this card. You see that number 8 right there? And look at this number 8. Do you see the difference in the two? You see how this one, the hairs are sort of bending outward a little bit, and it's becoming frayed. It's becoming a little wider. That's because if you could see the handle of this, it's just all kind of scratched up a little bit. It's beat up, not as much as these. I'm going to show you these. So every now and then, probably every 3 years, 4 years, this brush is probably $12 to $16. But my gosh, that's not a whole lot of money for 3 or 4 years of usage. And I'm not going to get rid of it yet, because there's some landscape mountains that I just want to really push. And I might want to just push this brush down like this and just let it kind of sweep in there. And that might be my brush to go. Sometimes too, even before I put them up, I'll just drag them out a little bit and try to sharpen them. But you can see how ragged this one is getting. If you look, you can see a little space in between the hairs. This is a newer number 8. Look at it. It feels sharper. It feels more round. It's just got a great approach to it, a feel to it. Same thing on this brush. Take a look. This is a number 7. Okay, you see it? It's a little scraggly here. It looks like yours truly needs a haircut. This is a new number 7. Look, just bought it the other day. Look at the point on this brush versus this brush. And you say, wow, I wish I could get in there and do those little details. If you're still painting watercolor, with brushes that you got for $4.98, and there were 3 in the set at a big box store, you're going to not be happy with the detail in your work. Some of you have figured that out. You go, every now and then you do have to have a sharper brush to get in there. So it's Christmas. Have some family upgrade you some. If you don't have family, well, friends will pitch in and we'll get you a brush. But the point is, look at this number 7 here. It's kind of flattened out, and it's just the paint is beat completely off of it. This actually is a number 4 there. Let me put that back over there. So I just wanted you to see the difference between this 7, which gets put in another jar there. This one gets to be put in my hand-blown jar here, because those are the brushes that I use all the time. So, and I'm going to keep this one out for a second this morning, this number 7. All right, let me show you. This is a number 7. It gets put over in the other can, okay? Bob has left the planet. There's Bob Ross. This is one of his energy drinks. So my brushes that I don't use very often, I put them in the Bob Ross thing as a tribute. All right, I don't get rid of them yet. Why? Well, because I still never now and then just need something to throw some color in there. Maybe it's an ugly mix, and maybe I'm just splattering it in. Maybe I want to splatter with those brushes and not splatter with my beautiful brushes. Just take another color, one that's already frayed a little bit, drip it out. And sometimes I'll just really pull the hairs back on a brush and open it up like that, and that's really not good for them. But if it's wet, and if you're these are nylon, so they're going to spring back really well for a while. What's a while? Well, honestly, this brush here is probably 7 years old. And look at it. It doesn't even have any. This is, let me show you these. What number is this? This is a number 3. Look at all these 3s right here. These are all 3s. And if you look real close, you go, ooh, he's taking care of this one a little better. See that? And then there's this one here. That's the newer 3. And look at it when it comes out of there. It's just sharp. Wait a minute. It's just sharp. Had a piece of fur caught on it there, or from the jar. It's just sharp. It's got a good edge. Look at this one here. Look, compare that one to this one. You'll see the difference. See that? Look at that. They're both number 3s. Okay? So sometimes brushes that get like this is from me. This is from the water. This is paint chippings. I love the grip. It doesn't bother me there. You can see where I rest my fingers in here. So sometimes I find pieces of green enamel finish of the brush on my painting. All right. So number 7, where did I lay that 7 down? I need it right here. And that number 3 right there. Okay. I'll put these back over here in this brush. Thank you, Bob Ross. And here's the number, this is a number, I use 4s and I use 6s, and here's the 6s. Take a look at this 6. And I know this is laborious, and this was the last time I'm going to do it right there. There it is. There's a 6 versus a new 6. Can you see the difference? All right. Okay. Take a look at this 6. Brand new. Just came last Saturday, or last Friday. I was at Cheap Joe's and picked this up. Excuse me, it's a 5 anyway. I said 6, but it's a 5. And here's the 5 that I've sort of washed out. So if you see a 2, 4, or 6, or 5, 2, 4, 5, or 6, in my style, that's a lot of brushes I use. Now, these are number 3s also, or one of them is, but it's a brush that's a rigger brush. So this is a longer hair smoothed into a sharper point that lets you do those fine lines. I'll do these sometimes with bee legs or animal legs. There's 2 3s right here. You can see the difference between this 3 and this 3. This one I was wearing out. This one's just there, and this is a number 1 rigger that doesn't look very sharp until you wet it down. And look at that brush right there. Okay, so a lot of you use rigger brushes and you love them, and so that'll give you a little idea of kind of where I'm going today. I told you Saturday. Let me say hello, and then I'll jump into talking about a couple things that are on my mind this morning. One, Beverly Schmidt. Good morning to you. Pat Brooks. Pat Brooks is on the show this morning. Do y'all know that Pat and I did a book? Have I talked about that in a while? I wrote a book called Noodle, Doodle, Fiddle, Piddle, and asked Pat Brooks to illustrate it and just to have at it in her style. I like her style of calligraphy. I like her style of hand art. I like her style of whimsicalness, where she just applies her style of art to it. I liked it. She's self-taught. There's really, it's self-taught, or it's not. It's eclectic. We're all eclectic, but you get the idea. I would say I'm self-taught, but you say, no, probably had lots of artists that I probably pulled and picked and watched until I learned what my own style was. And so, Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle, I'm going to just share a story out of there for you this morning. And I think it works well with what's coming up for the holidays. So I'm going to share that. But you can get the book on Amazon right away. I did finally get, I think, 10 of them in. And I think they're downstairs in a box by the art bar. And so if you want to order a book from me in the next few days, you can do that by just ordering it either on my Etsy. I think it's on my Etsy or through the website or something. And I can get that to you. Amazon, if you want to order this for your kids, your grandkids, for friends. And I think the price is reduced to like maybe $15 on the website. Look and see. It may not be. Etsy, it may be. I'm not sure. I could have just lied to you there. I'd have to go look and see. All right, so let's do a little painting thing here. Pat Brooks, Karen Binder, welcome. Lynn Tauber, Sharon Clark, JJ Dask, Jennifer Yentz, Denise Albright. Well, thank y'all for being on the show always. PG tips for me. Jennifer says PG tips. Yeah, it's Thai food for me. PG just isn't as strong as I want my tea, but I like PG tips. PG tips is what started me drinking British tea, by the way. Leslie McClellan, thank you for being on the show. It may be McClellan. Yes, I think it is. Heather Kuhlman, Donna Buckley. The sunshine is beautiful and it has no Payne's Gray in it. Diane Gregory, thanks for being on the show. Deborah Spangler, Elaine Barnett. Oops, meant to say beautiful morning here in Fort Pierce. So Leslie's not sure where she is. Where did she say? I love it when it happens. I don't know where I am today. I've had days like that. Gretchen Smith, hey, welcome. Or as we all say, hey, James O'Wade Jr. From the Missouri woods. I love that. Sharon Clark says, I haven't posted. I've been doing been helping elementary kids and a special adult make it create. Love that when you help other people, folks. That's what it's all about. Andrea Nell, Marion Jones, cold this morning, got to paint my cards. Yeah, some of you are painting cards. I'm going to tell you about painting Christmas cards or painting small Christmas art. It connects and people love it and it's easy to share and it's quick. You don't have hours and hours and hours invested into something that makes it hard for you to get rid of. That's postpartum. Yes, I created that word and I think it's a real thing. Catherine Brousseau, Sunel Stoffberg, thank you for being on the show. Glad you're here. Teresa Marie Clegg Salvaggio. I just like to say your name. That's a name that you should be running for. No, don't run for an office, but you should have your own radio show maybe. Annette Henslin. My collection of Roodoodles is increasing in value. I always knew they were worth more than I gave for them. And I hope that's the case. Yeah, you're finding that the auctions are going up. More people are getting involved. And so some of you who got on the ground floor that have been supporting me, my show, you're not supporting me, but man, I feel like you are some days when, every little painting that I sell, it gets traded into brushes and equipment and I'm on a quest, and that is to help people be who they're supposed to be with their art. What sets you apart? I'm going to share that story with you in a minute. It's right out of the book. Thank you for that setup, Annette. You didn't even know it was coming, but all right, Mickey Hupp, thanks for being on the show. All right, here we go. Some of you are just talking to each other because I see your names back and forth. Donacell Barton, Rube Goldberg it is. Jack Wolfenbarger, blessings, my dear friend. Hope you're doing well. Have a great Thanksgiving. Shared a lot of meals at Jack's table, and Jack shared a lot of at my table, Mama Joe and Pops, when we were in Knox Vegas, and he and I used to run around on the farm. Cheryl Johnson, blessings to you. Linda Bacon Lawless, Teresa Emmerich, Irene Shiraz. Is it Shiraz? I know I see the name often. I just haven't pronounced it too much. Chip Fur, blessings to you, buddy. All right, here we go. Let me do this. I promised you Saturday that I would show you the difference between a couple colors, and I want you to hear this before I dig into this. I'm just going to throw a little music in the background here, and listen to this very carefully. I do not attempt or want to take I'm not going to go down into this well really deeply. Here's why. I could find no reason to do that in the style that I paint. And it really goes against how I teach people to learn how to watercolor paint. Because people will say to me, and it happens all the time, I'll see someone who has some watercolor experience, and the first thing they'll ask is like, "Oh, what's that color you're using?" And I'll go, I don't know. Now, I know 5 or 6. I know the 6 colors that I use, and I can tell you their names, and I can tell you where to get them. But when you hold up a color like this one, and you go, "Oh, it's mummy," and they go, "Well, it's probably a desert brown or something, but what is it?" I go, I don't know. Some of these I just picked up to give them a try through the years. Some of these I've had, and here's one that I don't think I've ever opened. It's called Raw Umber Violet. What the heck? Did I pick it up by mistake? I don't know. We're going to look at it and see what it is. But my point is that I'm not going to, in my style of art, this is not a reflection on you. So don't do as I say or don't do as I do. Just hear what I do and see how you can fit in that style. I've got all this paint laid out here. Here's a bunch of pieces right here. I just laid these out. Can you see them coming down? I will tell you this. They are all American Journey. There's a couple other tubes in here of other companies. Excuse me, over the years. But this is what I use because I love its light fastness. I love its smooth texture. I love the amount of pigment that's in here. I love the way it's made. And also have this relationship of just friends with some of the family there at Cheap Joe's, the ones in Boone. I don't see them. I haven't seen them in years, or a year or two. In fact, before I went to Maine, Carol and I were up there putzing around. But I talk to them sometimes. But the point is, I try to buy locally here, and there's a Cheap Joe's in Charlotte. So it's all American Journey for me. That's what I use. I don't know how these two got here. They're supposed to be over here. But let me just do this without. All right, here we go. Somebody asked me, hey, and so Kim, I think it was Kim Sheets. She says, what is the difference between copper kettle and old sienna or burnt sienna? That was what she asked me. So there's copper kettle, and I couldn't answer the question. I don't know, except that I think you're going to see there's a little more sepia brown in this. And there's going to be in the copper, and in the copper kettle, there's going to be a little more copper. And it's not green patinaed copper; it's the red copper. I'm going to take a number 7 new brush, wet it, and I'm just going to start a little water right here, just a little water square, just out from it. This is a different way to approach it. Thought I was going to stick the brush in there, didn't you? But I'm not. Now I'm just going to take the brush and I'm going to touch it to the copper, and I'm going to put it in there and just drag it out like that right there. I'm going to clean that brush and I'm going to touch it in here. And you may not see any difference at all. Yeah, I do. I see a little difference already, okay? I see a little more red. I see a little more, and I may have not mixed it well there, a little more pigment coming out. I see a little more brown in here as it fades off, and I see this red highlighting. And so we'll just let it dry for a little bit because I'm going to do a couple more just so you can see. This is copper kettle. This is burnt sienna, and not BS. This is mummy right here. This is mummy. Have no idea what this looks like. I'm thinking it's going to be some ugly brown. There it is right there. There it is. That's that. Let's put that next to Old Sienna, which sounds like a town in a Western movie. Woo, baby, I like that. I may be using that. That's a little sample tube that I was sent years ago, probably from Joe's. Look at this. I'm going to do the little square here, just a little box, and then I'm going to just take this color in here, bring it in. Look at that. That's some. That was mummy. This is old sienna right here. Let me clean brush, clean it out, damp brush. Come and grab this and just, did I put water? Yeah, swing through that water right there. And this has a lot more orange than this. More red, more orange, more sandy brown, more dark, robust brown. And so you start to see. Now, the point is, could I get this color here? Could I get this color to go there if this is the only brown I had? Sure, I could reach over here and grab myself a little red, and I could come in and I could start to build this up like this. And I could make this red that would be so close that in my painting, you probably couldn't tell it apart. So that's why I don't dig in here too far. For me to say, oh, I have to have this mummy brown or this burnt sienna for this particular cactus that I'm painting out west, I'm going like, no, you don't. You've lost your color wheel. With yellow and red and blue, I can get all the other mixes, and then I'll start. It's the primary, then the secondary, then the tertiary. It just goes on and on and on. You have the prism to work with, but sometimes we get so locked in, and I do know for speed, then why do you grab titanium white? Because I have to have white. There's no white watercolor, really. They had to add something to it, but I like it. Why? Because I can reach over and splatter a little something real quickly. So right here in my edge of my painter's tray, right there. Oh, sorry, I can't see it. Right here in the edge of my painter's tray, just in that one little spot right here. Look where my brush is, right there. I just put a little touch of titanium white. Why? Because I'm going to splatter it. I'm going to probably grab it and throw a little bit of white in the comb of the rooster, maybe in his wattle, in his comb, in his wattle. Just that little bit of splatter white. Why? Because maybe when I was rolling the water in a tight place, I didn't get a holiday left in there, and I want a little light that looks like it reflects off that. Okay, that's what I want. Most of the time, this is a painting I sold yesterday. Most of the time, I use enough white in here that gives me that little sheen without me putting in white. But sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't do it the way I really want to see it. And so what I'm not going to do is go through the rest of these. There is a quinacridone gold here that I wanted to just show you what that looks like. Let me squeeze a little of that out. So you're suddenly saying, wait a minute, did you say that's a gold? Well, let's watch it come to life and I'll show you what it looks like. Have you ever seen me use this in my palette over here? No, never. It just hasn't found its way over there. So there's a little water. Come in and just grab some of this and look. Now you see the gold come out. This, by the way, is a great color for leaves. This is a great color if I wanted to come in, if I wanted to put these two together, if I wanted to come in here and grab this and throw a little bit in here like this, look what's happening. I'm going to keep going until I get back up here to this. So I'll promise you with these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, we could probably make them all match. And you go, well, that's impossible. No, it really isn't. See, those two are coming together right now just from touching them back and forth. And you suddenly say, of course, that makes sense. But then I could grab this here, grab a little more in here. Then I have this copper kettle up here at the top. So my point is that it'll be a great color. Someone said it'd just be a great color for a sunset. And by the way, my daughter paints flowers with that and flower leaves sometimes. And we'll drop some of that in. In fact, I'm going to show you that right now. That's yeah. Let me do this. This is as far as I'm going to go in that hole. Maybe 5 more minutes here with a little bit of green. This is chromium oxide green. I'm not sure this paint has ever been opened. No, it has not. There it is right there. It has now. Chromium oxide green. If you want to put down this is spring green. Spring green's a little richer. No, it's actually. I think I use this sometimes. I got into greens because I didn't want to make a mistake and get my green and yellow together here when I'm painting. Sometimes I'll reach for it and I'll mix them up a little bit. This is that was spring. This is sap. And for me, sap looks like this ought to be sap and that ought to be spring, but it's okay. I didn't name it. And I'm sure someone who knew about color, then this is cobalt, and this one's never been opened. I don't think I've ever opened the cobalt. Nope, brand new bit of cobalt. There it is right there. This is olive. And this doesn't look like the olive that was on my Jeep when I was young. But I do love olive green, and I like spring green. And also, I'll take some of this green gold. What? Yeah, this is green gold. Okay. And so, maybe I won't. We'll take a little bit of this green gold. Nope. Like I said, I'm not going to take this green gold. Uh-oh, I think I tore a hole in it. All right. I will. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna do it now because it's frustrating me. I'm gonna grab this little square here of water. Just put little drops of water right there in front because I like it to just roll through this as I'm testing it a little bit. You don't have to do it this way. All right, let's start at the top. Look at this. There's a little nice green, a green that I wouldn't see necessarily outside. This spring green I would see. I see the yellows in that. I love that. This green here was the sap green. That'd be a good Christmas tree colors, those two together right there. This is cobalt, I believe, which is, no. And this green right here, this is olive. This is the green that I use the most in my paintings, probably right there. Olive, sap, and spring are probably the three greens that I probably combine more than anything else. I'll take this one and I put it in here, grab a little piece of that, drop it in for my highlights. And then this green here is surprising me a little bit. I kind of like it, so I'd go back in and maybe put a little Christmas tree in that. So you see how those might just give me the little Christmas tree look, okay? So if you're taking notes, there's some of the greens that I used this morning. If I have time here this morning, I'll grab that gold and this green gold and pop it open. Let me move some of this back and let me paint something, because for those of you who didn't come for a lesson and want to come for some wild man painting something that's Christmassy, I'm going to do that for you right now. Then I'm going to share this little book story. This is huge paper, isn't it? This is the drawing paper. Don't you love this? Look at this. It's upside down. Don't you just think that's funny? I do. I think that's funny. I bought it that way because it's the only one they had on the counter, and it made me laugh when I got home. I went, wait a minute, I've turned that 3 times. When do I use a fountain pen versus a preppy pen? And the answer to that question is when I want ink to bleed and when I want ink to just sit there. And some of you know Tom, who's on this show from time to time, Roo's Crew. Tom I met when Carol and I were up in Maine. And so Tom has this, okay, take a look. You see the difference? Okay, this was my Kakuno fountain pen. This was my preppy pen right here. This one, preppy Kakuno. So that's when I choose to use a different fountain pen. If I want a lot of bleeding, if I want that line to soften up and break apart, I'll use the Kakuno, or I'll use the, this one is the Safari. So in that case, and it's also a bigger tip, it's a medium versus a fine. Clean brush, look at this. Okay, whoa, jump back. Okay, you see that? So those are things that I know some of you have been doing that, and you do it often. I recommend this for those of you who are just starting to know what everything on your desk does, for heaven's sakes. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to take the preppy pen, which is the ink that goes in the preppy pen is this ink right here, and it's carbon ink, and it does not bleed as much as the ink that goes in the Kakuno, or certainly the ink that goes in the Safari pen. It doesn't bleed as much if you put water to it. So these pens take the carbon ink. So for me the other day, I decided to do a little flower, and so I was just doing this flower like this. Just a little daisy, kind of like this, and just letting this come down. And I did one, and then bringing this in here, sharpen it in a little bit, and then I may put some black under this in just a second. But what I thought it might be fun to do is just grab some of this gamboge. I was doing a little daisy the other day on this, and I'm just going to come in here like this and just punch out the little red, the center of that daisy with just a little bit of yellow, like so. Just right in the middle of that flower. Can you see how that's coming together right there? It's kind of a fun little look. And then let's go in there and get a little bit of this orange that I'm using right here. And just drop some orange right on the edge of it. Why? Well, because there's dark places in a flower. And I might want some of that. Hey, let's just use a little bit of this copper kettle because it's on my desk. Look at that. See how, so I got 3 colors in there. I could have gotten all those colors by adding red and yellow and orange together. I could have also gotten paint all over me this morning. A little more than I have now. Now I'm going to go in here with this fountain pen, and I'm just going to touch it to this wet paint a little bit. This is the carbon ink, and I'm just picking up some black inside this little and I've also stopped up my pen. So you'll do that if you paint in it, so you'll have to clean your brush out a little bit. Now, I'm not trying to, some of these little parts of the leaf, you can't even see them. Did you notice that they're just sort of disappearing here? But watch what I can do. Let me go grab this is the Kakuno. I switched fountain pens on you. I'm just going to drag a little line here, a little there, a little piece right there, underneath probably more than up on top. Certainly down here, just a little bit here, right here, and maybe just a couple little tick marks in there. All right, you see what I did? I just barely took my pen, and I'm going to grab my brush, and I'm using a pretty big brush here. I've got a number 7. Still have that number 7 in my hand. I'm just going to go in here, and I'm just going to grab a little bit of this and look. See that ink start to run? That's going to give me the definition that lets you see those little leaves fall out, branch out there. Can you see that a little bit? And then I might just grab a little bit of yellow and bring it down on some of those. Let's go get some of that fun green that I had. What was it? It was called, let's just grab some olive right here. Here, I'll just drop a little bit more olive down in there so you can see that I'm using this. I'm going to drop this olive right in that corner right there. I wonder how I get paint all over me. Grace Scott, I'm a messy person. Hope you got a place that you can just kind of be a mess in a little bit, because it's going to help you. All right, look what I'm going to do here. Without the brush in my mouth talking to you, I'm just going to grab my Kakuno pen. I'm on my Kakuno pen, and I'm just going to do a little bit of lines here, just like this. I like that music, huh? Little green. Come down here. Grab this green and let the green and the black run together. So here's why. I don't worry about here's why I'm not doing a deep dive into all the different greens and all the different browns and all the different reds. When you go outside, if I sent you out right now, and you were in this class, and I said, I need you to go out and get me a brown leaf, you'd come back and that leaf would have brown in it, have yellow in it, have red in it, have a touch of orange, it would have a touch of green left over, it'd have a little piece of yellow shooting through somewhere. And I'd go, oh, I asked you for a brown one. You said, this is brown. You go, no, it's not. Look at the other 7 colors that are in there. So we get so locked in when we're in elementary school to do, as Harry Chapin used to say, flowers are red, young man, and green leaves are green. And it's the only way that flowers should be seen. But the little boy said, there's so many colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see everyone. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of buff titanium, and I'm punching some of that right on these leaves to just give them a little bit of dirt and maybe a little touch of they're worn a little bit of green coming out from underneath there, just like that. So I suddenly have painted this little flower that's not finished, but it is finished for me. That's my style. Does this mean that I'm going to learn to paint a sunflower like Georgia O'Keeffe? No. Or a sunflower like Vincent van Gogh? No. Do I want to? No. Vincent did that. What I want to do is I want these to be Roodoodle style. That's what I'm after. I painted one of these yesterday, and I liked it so much that I thought I'd do another one. And so for me now, to get this titanium white right here that I put down here in the corner, see right here, I'm just going to grab a little of this titanium white, and I'm just going to splatter some right in there, just like that, and just let it splatter. And then I'm going to grab a little more, and a little more water, grab my pencil if I had one. That'd be dangerous if I had a pencil here, and just do a little white splatter down in there on those leaves. Grab a little bit of this, lighten it up, and I think I suddenly have painted a daisy that I kind of like. What if I went in with my pen now and did a little more black underneath, just for contrast? Maybe this pen right here will really soak. Look at that. Oh my gosh. See what's happening there? And then maybe it needs to clean the pen out every now and then. If you're painting with a fountain pen over watercolor, nobody in their right mind Nobody in their right mind is going to recommend it. I recommend it. I love it. But you're going to have to do a little more maintenance on your pins. You're going to drag them over there, clean them off a little bit. But I'm telling you, when you do it and when you see what it does, you're going to love it. All right. So I suddenly have this cool looking little daisy that is, let me show you what one looks like finished. I did one right here on the first page of this yesterday morning, about 8 o'clock in the morning before I went to church. There you go. See it right there? Boom. And look, I love it that I actually went into it a little more and I pulled some of those little, I got to get my pen to write again, pull some of those little lines out there and just added a little bit of darkness all the way around this. Maybe there's a shadow coming over there. I can come back in. Remember, we're never done with the art until it goes out the door. I can come back 2 weeks from now and add a little something in there if I want to. Why? Well, it's my art and it's my taste. The thing about art is it might be your taste, but I want my taste to agree with other people out there, and that's how my art connects. Yesterday, I sat at the bar after church. It's funny to say that. You know, I finished church and went to the bar. No, I went to a restaurant, and they didn't have any reservations, but we always say, there's 4 seats there at your bar. You do full menu at the bar. They go, oh, yeah, this is this is not Bricktops. This is another restaurant. It's called Cafe Monte, a French restaurant in Charlotte. Had a coupon for some money off. We go, whoa, let's take it. So, excuse me, I had this pad, and I sat down, and there's a couple sitting next to us. They came in and sat down, and they were having a birthday celebration. An older couple, older as in, he goes, yeah, I'm turning this. I go, dude, I turned that a long time ago. And we started visiting a little bit. And I started doodling some, and he goes, are you making notes? I said, no, and Carol said, no, he's painting. And so they went, what? So I painted them a little Christmas piece. I gave it to them. And then this waitress kept coming by. She kept looking sort of like as she walked by, she'd look over, and I thought she's really interested in art possibly. And I painted one of my little shrimps real quickly, and I gave it to her, and it just blew her mind. She said, she turns to her manager and said, I need to run outside to my car real quick. I have to put this in the car. I don't want anything to spill on it. And she said, I'm framing this. And I'm going like, well, put it in an expensive frame because it cost you so much. And she laughed. And then she posted it last night, and a lady contacted me and said, hey, I saw this posted on someone's feed last night, and I really loved it. Could I get a bee painted from you? I saw that you paint bees. All right, so you see that little black ink that I just rolled in there? Is it too much? Maybe, but I'll let it die down a little bit, and I'll add a little white or yellow paint to it. I kind of like that dark underneath of the flower a little bit. So the point is, know which pen you're going to use. Know what you want to use. Know what your pens and brushes do. And then as far as colors, I've been doing this for 15 years, and so I have tubes that I haven't even thrown away in 15 years. I have some that I should have. So my point is, at some point in time, I will come to a point where I'll scale back down a little bit and keep it simple. I want you to not think you have to have all of this to start. Christmas asks for some art supplies if you want to get into this and say, hey, just 2 brushes, just 1 brush, maybe a number 6. Maybe somebody wants to give you a $50 to $80 brush, a Kolonsky Sable. That's fine. Get a sable brush, but don't treat your sable brushes like you treat your nylon brushes. Treat them differently. They're beautiful hair, and they need to be taken care of, and they need to be washed out every now and then with shampoos and like you wash your hair. These can just have water sloshing around and clean them up. These are workhorse brushes for me, but they're also what I do some of my best art with. All right. No, leave the dark. I do love the pen bleed. Do more daisies. All right. I'll throw them out there today, and somebody can enjoy the daisies. Okay, look here. So what is it that sets me apart? What is it that sets you apart? And we'll share this, and then we'll paint a Christmas piece real quickly. What does it set you apart? This is the stories. For those of you who haven't seen this in a while, some of you own this book. Some of you need to pull back through it, and some of you, this is what you read at your with some of your grandkids or some of your kids when you're talking Christmas, and say, hey, you want to do some art, but what is it makes your art different? You know, you just heard me say I don't need to paint daisies or sunflowers like Van Gogh or Georgia O'Keeffe. I need to paint the flower that I see. And by the way, I'm not looking at any flower, any daisy up here. I'm not trying to see if my flower fits daisies. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just painting how I remember a daisy. That's what I want to get you better at. The world is filled with amazingly talented people. I'll tell you what page this is on, but it's on the pages next to what is it that sets you apart. So I didn't number these pages on purpose. The world is filled with amazingly talented people. God made millions of them. But if you do not chase your art in love because you believe you don't measure up, two things are going to happen. You're going to miss a passion or a calling, and those around you will miss what you had to offer. Some artists say, and I've heard them, and I've said it kept me from painting for years. I would look at Bob Timberlake's watercolors years ago, realism, and I'd go, I'll never be able to do that. I'd like to, no way. I saw a porcelain coffee pot with flowers in it sitting on the porch that he had painted at one of his beach houses, and I went, why would I ever paint? And I thought, but that's not what I need to paint. It took me years to get over it. So I'm trying to help you to get over that fear right away. Some artists say, I'll never be as good as some of the artists, another artists out there, and I'll never match skills with Bob Timberlake. I never will. With Charlie, never. But I'll never play the guitar like Doc Watson. Even though Doc died 2 years ago, if I practiced the rest of my life, I would never have Doc's style. Do I like it? Do I play similar to that? Yes. And I have since I was a kid because my dad was a finger picker and he had a heavy thumb, and Doc has this heavy thumb roll and he and Merle had. And I love that. That was my style of music. And I play it, but it would take, and Doc was blind, and so his fingers just know where to go. It was brilliant and beautiful. But I would say I'll never cook like Ina Garten. And by the way, she didn't go to Cordon Bleu. She didn't train in Paris. She learned on her own. And I love that, from picking up pieces here and there. But if I don't cook this week, as well as Ina Garten, and if I choose not to cook, then if Carol and I took that stance, then our family would kind of be starving this week because they're all coming here. And it's not just Thanksgiving Day. We looked at it last night. We're cooking for 5 days or 4 days. We're cooking 3 meals a day, or one of those has a brunch. I told my friend yesterday, once we fire up our gas range, the flame will never go out. Just at night briefly, but it's almost like just keep it lit until everybody's gone. So if you don't do it as well as others, does this mean you won't cook, you won't write, you won't paint? If you never pick up a brush or an instrument or turn on the oven, it'll be a sad outcome for those around you, and it'll be a sad outcome for you. The story goes on. Sometimes our worldview is this big around, and we need to break it out and say, you know what? I can't make that, but I can make a cobbler. In fact, I can make a blackberry cobbler that you'd want to come and sit down at my table and scoop some out of that cast iron pan and drop just a touch of whipped cream or fresh ice cream, vanilla ice cream on top, and you'd go, this is good. So be careful about how you squeeze yourself into that, okay? What art books? We have art books by masters. Carol has cookbooks by the hundreds, but if we're always comparing ourselves to those people, we lose a little bit. If we're just always comparing our food to what we've purchased in books, we're making a mistake. What sets us apart? We launch into things that we don't do well, and we fail sometimes. This could have turned out absolutely horrible, but I actually kind of like it. I actually liked it that this black rolls in there. It gives me a little bit of an aging daisy this time of year, and I like it. I like the fact that people go, I don't understand how you painted that. And I go, I really didn't. It was a mistake. There's a little drop of water there, and when I stuck the pen down in there, I stuck this fountain pen in there, it just took off. And I went, I'm not going to stop it. I'm just going to let it go. What I might do now that I have it over here in front of me, and that I'm so ADD, is I might just put a couple little dots on here just to age this now a little more. So now I'm just really kind of I'm really doing some little treatment to it here. Maybe I like it. I like it a lot, actually. And I'll put some more little, you know what? And I might just put a little more of that dark black right in here. I'll show you how to get that in just a second. This is drying really well on this little drawing paper. This is an 80-pound drawing paper. So we launch into things that we do, we learn, and we fail. But in the midst of finding our way, we also will try to help others find their way. And so this next year coming up, decide that you want to learn something new. You keep saying, you know what, I've been watching that guy paint for a while. This year, I'm going to just open up something, and I'm just going to start painting. Several of you have been posting cards. I've started painting my first cards, or I'm going to launch my cards this year. Keep your cards simple. Cards don't have to have anything but a tiny little piece of art and a note if you want to connect with people. It's called Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. You can find it on Amazon.com by looking up Roodoodles or Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle. There's a couple more books out there. Hey, Roo, What's a Wheelbarrow for Children? And my coloring book is out there. So, okay, got 10 minutes to go. Yesterday, I painted this painting, or 2 days ago, I painted this on Saturday morning. And man, this thing took off last night. Yesterday, and the reason is because all the comments that said, oh my gosh, we all know, we all feel that, we all get that, we all know that. And that is the thing that you want your art to do. How can you come up with something in your life that connects to other people? You know, if you're a shrimper or a crabber, or, you know, I sold a painting the other day that had a crab in it with a Christmas bulb. And then it had a crow with a Christmas bulb. And one of them, the crow said, hey, let's make this a team thing. I'll stop traffic. You pick up the roadkill. Okay, so the lady that bought that sent me a note. She said, I need to connect the rest of the story. She said, my father was a crabber. And I want to give this to him. And she may be giving it for Christmas. And he might be watching this show. So... but there's also a connection that the family had a pet crow. And so how fascinating that sometimes you just throw out two pieces and you don't know how it's going to settle, how the dust is going to settle, and you love the story that comes with it. All right. For me, around Christmas, I paint these stories. So I'm going to put a little bee on here, and not that big. He doesn't need to be bigger than the flower. But by the way, this is what I carry in my jacket pocket sometimes to church. It's Strathmore drawing paper. There it is. It's 80 pound. It's a very white. It's medium surface. What does that mean? It means it's not too rough. It's not too slick. It's not too soft. Watercolors do well on it. If I just keep pouring the water to it, it'll come out. It frames really well being 80-pound drawing paper. It's not sketching paper. It's drawing paper. It's a little heavier. And I'm also using less water. Okay. If I use a lot more water, it's going to cause it to wrinkle some. And it'll go on from there. What I might do now is I'm taking this Lamy pen called, like Mommy, a Lamy pen, and I'm just putting a little more black in there. And I'm going to grab a smaller brush. I'm just going to grab like a number 3 here. There's a 3 right there. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to pick up some of this. And just because I want a little more dark down here, just around the bottom of this, just for a shadow. And guess what I'm doing? I'm going in here and I'm going to get a little royal amethyst, a little purple, and I'm just going to drop a little purple. And I'm going to drop a little purple in right here too. But now that that's dry, I'm going to go get a little more brighter gamboge, and I'm going to pop it right on top, just right there. And I want to add one more little touch of orange right there in that black, just above the black. And I think I have finished this. So I'm going to take that 3, grab a little bit, and here's where I will grab my old 3 sometimes. Remember this one here? Look at it, all beat up. I'll grab an old 3 like this, and I'm going to just grab a little bit of French gray and my pencil, and I'm going to come in. I'm going to hold my pencil about 4 inches above, and I'm just going to tap it over here. I'm just going to tap in a little bit of blue splatter like that. Now, probably, I think what I might do is when that dries, I think I'll probably come in there and do a little bit of a honeybee. I'm so tired of coughing. Right there. Hey, I sold this painting. Well, no, not this one. This is a different one. I sold one like this over the weekend. This is on, what is this on? Oh, this is on Kilimanjaro paper, but it's not on bright white. It's on 140-pound natural paper. It comes in this little package right here. It's a cool little journal, by the way. It's easy to carry. This is, behold, you got that right. This is a little Bethlehem scene here, and I painted a little different than I did in these two peeps. And so I'm going to probably post this one. I painted another one of these, and I sold it, and I painted one more, dropped it in the mail. I'm actually doing two more of these in different, I've got another couple captions I want to do. And this is one of my favorite ones because this is my story at Christmas. In fact, I have one that's he's, and I think I sold it last year or the year before. He's decorating the tree, and the wife, the hen, is over here, and she says, "You're just using 3 lights on the tree." And he goes, "That's all that works from last year's strands." And so that's kind of my life. You know, it's like, now you know why people buy so many of these, because they just don't work. And so for me, this is just a quick little painting that tells the story of Christmas. This one tells the story of Christmas that I love, and I'm painting a couple more of those. Auction change is, I think I'm going to do the auction not on Friday the 2nd. It looks like I need to be out of town then. Change over this weekend. I'm going to do it on Thursday, December the 1st. Thursday, December the 1st. This is what I'm putting out right now. And I'll tell you the first part of the week, a week from today. Thursday, December the 1st. A week from today, I'll tell you for sure. But I'm going to do a live auction. I've got a pile of bees, and I got some more Christmas pieces that I'm going to throw out. So some of you want to grab a couple Christmas pieces, I'll have some in that live auction. We're going to do it here at 8:57. Thursday, December the 1st. So if you would write that down, December 1st, Roo Live auction. Okay, I think that's where it's going to go. Not on the 2nd, that's a Friday night, but on Thursday night, the 1st. Thursday night, the 1st. Okay, crows. Okay, yeah, somebody else wants another crow too. So you want a crow in there. So we're going to have some bees. We're going to have some Christmas work. A crow, maybe have a crow. There'll definitely be a couple of the Christmas crabs. I'll just, whatever I have over here. Okay, hi from Bainbridge. Sheila, welcome to the show. Good morning. Glad you're here. Let's see. I got just a couple more minutes here, so let me just do a quick little, let me do a little quick little Christmas bee for you, and I'll do it on this paper right here. I think I can do it in 6 minutes. All right, so let's do just a little Christmas bee right here. And I'm going to do him with a, this, by the way, pens. This is the Preppy pen. Very inexpensive pen, $4.99 for this pen. I got this one from Cheap Joe's. The words Preppy have already come off, but here's this little pen. Let's do him like this. Let's draw this little bee coming down like this. There he is. He's flying this way. He's got his leg coming back. It's hinged down this way. It's hanging down. This one's hanging out this way. This one's coming out front right here. There's his antennae. His wings are coming up this way like this. That's all we need. So a little Christmas bee. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change direction on you just a little bit. I need another leg coming out here like so. You see that little bee going in right there? I'm going to grab this fountain pen right here, and I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to, why did I switch pens? Because this pen bleeds more than that pen. Okay, this is a Kakuno Pilot pen. There's that right there. Come in like this. I want a little bit here, and here I want to just go in there and grab some of that red, grab some of that white space and fill it in with the black. There we go. Here's a leg coming out here, leg coming out here, another one here. One hanging down like this. All right, so now I'm going to take that number 3. No, I might take a 2. Just going with a tiny little brush. And I'm not putting any paint in here yet. I haven't used any paint yet. I'm just using the ink that I used from that pen. Just for what it's worth, I'm going to grab some of this copper kettle and just dust it right up the wings like this and just touch it with my finger. Just touching it with my finger. Why would I do that? Well, because after experimenting, painting bees for a while, I realized that it's better if I just sometimes paint with the brush that God gave me. Grabbing a little bit of buff titanium. I just want a little shadow of that wing up there. That looks pretty good right there. You can't hardly see it, but I can see it well. I could touch a little bit of shadow underneath this one right here. Now I'm going to come in with some black now, and I'm just going to put a little black over the ink, just like this, because I wanted that to be a little richer. And come in like so. I'm beefing this up, by the way, because I thought the bee was a little skinny, so I'm going to do that. Now, all right, I'm going to let that dry for just a second. So I'm just going to let that dry, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put a small Christmas ball right here. We'll come down like this, close this in, and then I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to draw a round circle if I can. Take a look at that. Whoa, not too shabby, he says. Catch this, yeah. Not too shabby. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to grab a Pentel number 5, and I'm going to come over here like this and just start over here on the edge. How am I doing time-wise? 3 minutes. Can he make it? I'm so sorry that I cough during this show, but I'm happy to be here. Reminds me of the old joke. What is it? Where the hearse is going up the hill and the door falls open and the casket falls out, starts rolling down the hill. All traffic stops behind them, going up the hill to the funeral procession, and people are going every direction. They're finally going through. The guy's laying on top of it saying, "Stop, help me, stop it, help." And finally someone stops it, and he goes, "Whoa, thought I'd never find anything to stop this coffin." Boom, I'll be here all week. So, hey, I'm alive. I'm coughing. Okay, so here we go. Just grab a little bit of that white space right there. Now, this is more of a clean brush that I just dipped in the paint, and I'm taking it in like this. More of a little more red over here. Why? Because that's where the shadow is. That's the light's coming in this way. Come in there. How am I doing? 9:58. Let's grab some of this and just come in right this. Look at this. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Loving it when this is coming together. If you haven't tried to paint like this sometimes, just enjoy what happens when you are just so loose that it just blows everybody's mind. And they're going like, what is that guy doing? How are those paint strokes even making a difference? It's very abstract. But guess what? It's working. Why? Why is it working? Because you get it in your mind. You see where this is going. A little black I put in there. Did you see that? I'm going to put a little of this copper right on top of that, just like this. Too much. So let's get some of that out of there. All right. Didn't like that. Come back with it. The black caught on this with this number 7. And I just picked up way more than I needed. And so there is... there's the tree coming together. All right, now let's come in here with a different color brush. Let's come in here with a different size brush. Here's a number 3. And let's grab some of this gamboge and come in and just do a little bit of yellow in the bee. Like this, like touch there, touch right in here. I suddenly have this bee that needs to be beefed up a little bit. So I'm going to grab a touch of orange right here too and just shadow him a little bit like I did the ball, thinking that he's dark on this underside right here. Just a little darkness right in there. And I think I got this bee done, except for a little bit of gray right here on the head of this. All right, it's a work day in the city. I hear everybody out there with their leaf blowers and all. They drive by my yard and they go, "Does anybody live here? Because there's a lot of leaves on the ground." I go, "I'm letting nature take its course." All right, so you suddenly see this concept of this bee going in to decorate this tree. And it's just a quick little Christmas painting, but it's the whimsicalness of letting nature do what nature does. And for me, that's kind of a fun little thing to do. Might come in with my 5 pen and just put a little bit of definition in the wings right here where you can see that, and then create a little bit of pile on the bee. Pile, like pile on carpet, is hair. That's what it's called on a bee. And clean this edge up right here and maybe put a little bit of a shadow underneath that right there. And then maybe come back and just put when this dries a little bit more, put a little bit of rib in the tree, those little ribs, those little branches, put it in like this, and I suddenly have this little drawing that took me, it's 10:01, took me a minute longer than I thought, but that gives you an idea of how you can put that together. It doesn't take long. All right, so I'll come up with a caption and I'll write it in like this. How do I know where I'm going to write a caption in? Sometimes I'll go get a dish. Sometimes I'll set my coffee cup on it. Sometimes I'll use an architectural tool like this. It's a flexible curve. And what I might do is I might just come around here like this and just do a sweep right here with a little pencil, just like so. And then I'll write the caption right on that little curve. And so no two are alike because this is just a flexible curve. We used to use these in architectural class when I was industrial drawing is what I think they called it back then. Industrial arts. All right, blessings to you all. And I'm going to post something today. I'll post something all throughout this month. I will give away a painting on December the 1st, and I'll give it away at the auction. But I'm going to do a live auction right now on December 1st. Noodle Doodle Fiddle Piddle is the book. I'm blessed to be on the show with all you guys. If I miss some questions, I'll pick them up. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. I'm not going to paint Tuesday morning again for, we're taking a break and I will not be painting Thursday morning for the beginners class, which they know we're holding off. And I have to reschedule a Patreon class, a 90-minute one. And I'll get that probably the following week. I'll announce that to give you time to come in. And in fact, we may go knock down, drag out. We might just add some time to that and just do a serious, serious deep dig class. So blessings to you all. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving day. Surprise people by asking some questions. Some of you ordered the questions from my daughter. She said, "Oh my gosh, did you say something about my questions on the show?" And it's called "Come to the Table." And just write down 3 questions, and then ask them what it is that they want to learn and do this year. If anybody comes to your table, if they don't, just ask the people at the checkout lane. The thing I like about Trader Joe's here is when they say, "What are you going to do the rest of your day?" What a great question. All right. Blessings to you all. Thank you for being a part of this show. Thank you for being a part of the world of Roodoodles. I really do love that you're plugged in and that you're making art and that you're sharing that art with people all over the place. And thank you for sharing my art. Some of you really do in such a marvelous way, and I'm blessed by that. Do not want you to think that I take that lightly, because I do not. All right. I'm out of here like a bee decorating a Christmas tree.